strangers. Believe me when I say, loving me is loving danger. Your heart is bound to break. I walk alone in the night, beneath the pale moon. Loving's for the fools. Baby, beware of my bite. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf.
Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm the Lone Wolf, and this time I want to talk about the Benelli TRK final transmission. So my bike is the road version 502. It has a 14 teeth front sprocket and 42 teeth rear sprocket stock. The 502X, the off-road version of the TRK, has a 14 front and 44 rear. This allows the bike to have more torque and is intended for off-road purposes. When I tried the 502X, I immediately felt the increase in torque. The bike felt more nervous, more immediate response to the throttle input, and that made the bike more fun to ride. But the problem with that is on the highway the rotations, the RPM would rise too much, a lot more than I liked. So I also always felt the normal 502, although not as much torque as the X, still has a lot of torque. And I personally always felt that with longer gears it still would be fun to ride, and even with full cases or pillion it still would be enough torque to ride with no problems. So I went for it. I swapped the rear sprocket for a 39 teeth, that is equivalent to a 15 teeth front sprocket. I changed the rear one because if I swapped the front sprocket, I had to change the chain as well, because it wasn't long enough for the 15 tooth front sprocket. So I decided to change the rear one instead. With the 39 rear, the chain is perfect and is still on the middle mark of the wheel nut adjustment, so plenty of adjustment left. So I did a change, and let's go for a small ride to compare results. Alright, let's accelerate to 80 kilometers per hour. At 80 kph the engine is about 4100 RPM. This is stock. And with the 15 teeth front sprocket or 39 teeth rear sprocket, it goes at 3800 RPM. At 100 kilometers per hour goes 5100 RPM stock. And with the sprocket change goes 4800 RPM. And at last, at 120 kph, goes 6100 RPM. and with the other sprocket goes 5700 RPM. Let's do a little acceleration test from 80 to 120 kph. So stock is about 9 seconds. And with the change sprocket goes above 10 seconds. So there's a little difference there. And please note, this test was made with no pillion, not fully loaded, and with low fuel, so low weight. For conclusion, for solo riding, this sprocket change feels very nice, very great. Still plenty of torque in town, and on the highway can cruise at lower RPM, hence lowering the fuel consumption as well. That's very nice. And that is one of my objectives. You just need to be a little more careful when doing overtaking, especially if bike is loaded, and also in off-road conditions. Please note, the first gear is now a bit longer, so you must adapt and use the clutch more times. So the pros: less engine RPM at speed and less fuel consumption while cruising. The cons: you have about 7% less torque. The bike feels slower the more loaded it is, and to compensate this, you must use a gearbox more times. So this is it. This summer I'm going to Spain, to Picos de Europa. So I wanted to do this change because it's a long ride on the highway, a lot of hours, and I wanted to feel the bike a little bit less RPM. So I will test it during this trip, this sprocket change, and then do a little review about it as well. So thanks a lot for watching, ride safe, and I hope to see you next video.